Good morning, students. Today I'm going to talk about heuristic 3.9, then the role of agent classes, and the last topic is that is eliminating the use of separate entity and controller classes. If time permits, today I'll complete. Otherwise, I will complete it in Monday's class. Okay, because I'm having the HOD's meeting at 12 p.m. So if possible, I'll complete. Otherwise, Monday I'll complete it. Okay. And so before starting with the heuristic and the rule of agent classes, so let me see what we discussed in the last class. In the last class, I discussed about the proliferation of classes problem. When the proliferation classes problem exists, and I explained with the example, right? So if you consider the application that is divided or breaking it into five functions f1 through f5, and if modification or if two of the functions shares the common data structure, and if new function is created where that function is also depending on some part of the data structure that is represented as x that we discussed in the previous topics, right? And then the problem arises there that I explained, right? And then how that problem can be solved by using the object oriented approach, and the solution is given by creating two new classes, that is d1 and d2, right? And if suppose instead of d1 and d2, because there we have created only two classes and the problem is solved, right? But if the designers are creating more number of classes for the same problem, let us consider that instead of two classes, if they created 18 classes or 180 or more than that, then that problem is called as the proliferation of classes problem. Means proliferation of classes problem is creating more and more number of classes for the let me consider for the simple problem, more number of classes are created, then that problem is said to be a proliferation of class problem. And if more number of classes are created, then what happens? If modification has to be done for any one class, then identifying that particular class is a very difficult one. If you consider here, if you have created 180 classes, and if you want to modify in any one class, and if that class is depending on other class or other classes are depending on this particular class, then also the problem arises, right? So if more classes are created, then managing and maintaining of those classes is a very big problem. And this is the problem arises in the proliferation of classes problem. Proliferation of classes means creation of more and more number of classes for the simple problem. And related to this, we discussed about two heuristics, 3.7 and 3.8. 3.7 says that eliminate irrelevant classes from your design. Means whenever you're designing the system, you need to identify which are the classes which are useful and which are the classes which are not useful. And such classes are treated as irrelevant classes. Then you need to identify such irrelevant classes and you need to eliminate them. Means when you're eliminating the irrelevant classes, you no need to remove the information from the design. You're just removing the irrelevant class. This I discussed in the last class, and this one also heuristic 3.8, that is eliminate classes that are outside the system. This I discussed in the previous class, right? So this heuristic says that you have to identify the classes which are within the system, or which are the classes the classes which resides outside the system that you need to identify. So identify a detection of the classes which are outside the system, it's difficult because we need to check whether that class is useful class or the useless class, and or irrelevant class. Then you have to decide that irrelevant class, and that class is outside the system. Then you have to remove such classes without affecting the system operation or system behavior. And then how you can identify the classes which resides the system? The main thing you can identify that the class which is outside the system, how we are identifying that class sends the messages to the classes which are inside the system, but that class will not receive any message from the classes which are inside the system. and such classes are treated to be the classes which are outside the system, and we need to eliminate such classes. This also we discussed in the last class, right? Today we'll see one more heuristic, that is 3.9, and this says that do not turn an operation into a class. Means when you're because when you're designing the systems, each system will have the set of operations, and when you're creating the classes you should not uh, turn the operations into a classes. Means you should not create the classes which are the operations. Okay, do not turn an operation into a class. Be suspicious of any class whose name is verb or is derived from a verb, especially those that have only one piece of meaningful behavior. Ask if that piece of meaningful behavior needs to be migrated to some existing or undiscovered class. So this is the heuristic 3.9. So it is mainly concentrating on do not turn an operation into a class, and you should be little careful when you are creating the classes, and that class should not be a verb or derived from a verb. And if this heuristic is violated, then this leads to the creation of or cause of proliferation of classes. So if this is the heuristic. If this heuristic is violated, then this leads to the creation of proliferation of classes. And we should be careful that for any class that have only one piece of meaningful behavior. So for example, if we ask the class be an operation on one of other classes, or is it really capturing some key abstraction, or whenever the designers are requesting for I need the class that does something, means the class that is performing something or performing some functions or the operations, then we should be careful about that. So whenever the designers are asking for that particular class, we need to be careful, because here the word does, because here the watch out our designers who request I need a class that some functions or that some operations, right? And that this word does sounds too much like a behavior, not a request for an abstraction, because does specifies the behavior rather than the abstraction. And next, the classes whose names are verbs are derived from verbs are especially suspected one. Means if the classes are verbs, verb means what? You know the meaning of verb, right? Verb means I want it specifies some actions, right? And if you're giving the class name up like that, then we should be careful, because the classes whose names are verbs are derived from verbs are especially suspected one. Normally, who will do that mistake? The newcomers or the new developers. The presently they are using the object-oriented paradigm, prone to violation of this heuristic. Means the developers or the designers are new to the system, or they are the new designers or the developers. Normally, those designers or the developers will face this problem, or they will violate this particular heuristic. So we should be careful that whenever we are creating the classes, the operation should not be created as class. And when creating the classes, we should be careful whether it leads to the behavior or the request for an abstraction, that we have to check. And the classes whose names are verbs are derived from the verbs, usually those classes are treated as the suspected classes. And the newcomers of the object oriented system are normally prone to violations of this particular heuristic. So this is about heuristic 3.7, 3.8 and 3.9. Next we'll see the role of agent classes. So you'll see here which classes are said to be the agent classes and what is the main functionality of that agent class. To see that, first we'll consider an example of a design of a library system. You're already familiar with the library system, right? So the library system consisting of what? The books, the students, so the students can take the book and return the book. and the books are normally stored in the form or placed on the bookshelf. Okay, series of bookshelves will be available, and more number of books are placed in the bookshelf. And the librarian is also there, right? And normally this is the library system. Okay, library system consisting of the librarian, number of books, and books are placed in the form of a bookshelves. Clear? And the students can request for the books. The books can be given to the students, right, on weekly basis or 15 days basis, like that. We'll see that. And if you want to design the system for the library system, then what problem arises, that we'll see. And we'll see which is the agent class in the library system. And see, if you ask the designer to design the library system, the designers could not decide if a book should send the book yourself message, or if a bookshelf should send the bookshelf yourself message. Means book here, what is the condition here? Book is there, bookshelf is there, and here then the designers are in a confusion situation. They have to decide that whether the book should send the message or bookshelf should send the message to the book. So the designers are not able to decide this. And see here, only we have two classes, bookshelf and books class, right? Or if you consider book yourself message and shelf yourself message. But here, if you consider this design, there is a key element missing in this particular design. That key element is called as the object oriented librarian. Okay, or the key element is the librarian. Okay, librarian is responsible for keeping the books on the bookshelves or taking the books from the bookshelves, like that. But here in this design, that key element is missed. Which is that key element? That key element is called as the librarian. And if you consider a real world problem, during analysis, it is common to model the real world whenever it is possible. So that's why you consider the library system. It's a real world problem, right? The design process modifies this real world model in favor of heuristics like distributing system intelligence and avoiding God classes. These two we already discussed in the previous topics, right? Or in previous class. That is what is the distributed system intelligence and the creation of God classes. And here, as I said, in this design, the key element, that is librarian, is missed. And this librarian is an example of a special class, and that class is called as an agent class. Understood? So here we need the help of the librarian in order to manage the library system. But in the initial design, that was missed, right? Here that the key element was missed in this previous design, so we need to identify the key element, and that element we need to introduce into the design, and that key element is called as the special class, or it is also called as an agent class. Okay, so the object oriented librarian is an example of special class called agents, and agents are modeled as classes during analysis. Okay, these agents we are creating as the classes. But some designers may argue that is it the agent class is really required or not. That we'll see based on the system requirement. Okay. So, but here we are considering the librarian, object-oriented librarian, as a special class, and that special class is treated as an agent. And the agent during the analysis phase, these agents are modeled into the classes. Here, we are considering the example of a librarian as an agent, and he is interacting between the book and bookshelf. Here, then, what is the main role of the librarian? Yeah, in this we are talking only about this design. Okay, here we have the book, librarian, and bookshelf. Then, what is the main role of librarian here? Simply, he receives the message from one class and give it to the other class, or he receives the message from book and send the message to bookshelf, or he receives the message from bookshelf and sends the message to book. So means he is just acting as a mediator to transmit the messages between the book and bookshelves. If this is the case, then some designers argues that so there is no main behavior or main role for the librarian and no need to include the librarian as a agent class in this particular design. Because if we include the librarian, then it leads to the transmission of or interaction of more number of messages. See here, put me on shelf, put me on book, put book on shelf. So the librarian receives this message and sends that message to bookshelf. Our book is on shelf, so you're on shelf. So is just transmitting the messages between book and bookshelf. If only this particular role he is performing, then some designers argues that the librarian class is not necessary here. Due to the introduction of the librarian as an agent class here, it leads to the transmission of more number of messages. If we eliminate the librarian here, then it leads to the simple design. See here, instead of 4 messages, the message number of messages are reduced to 2, and the agent class is eliminated. Here, the book and bookshelf can directly interact together just by exchanging the 2 messages. But this design is okay only when the books and bookshelves are interacting, no problem. But we need the librarian class where the librarian is checking the due date of the books, and if the students are returning the books later or after the particular duration, then fine has to be collected. That is the responsibility of the librarian. In such cases, the librarian agent classes are required. Okay, in such cases, the librarian agent class is required, and then the librarian will look into all those things. But here, in this scenario, if we consider only 2 messages are exchanged, then we have to decide who will initiate the message first, book or bookshelf. So the designers are gone arguing about this topic, but there is no solution for this particular problem, because we cannot say which one to initiate the message, either the book or the bookshelf. Based on the requirement, either the book has to initiate the message or the bookshelf has to initiate the message. So then related to this heuristic 3.10 is there. Just a minute, I will check whether the meeting has started or not. Sorry, meeting start agide alli. I will end the class and I will continue it in Monday's class. Is it okay?
Yeah.
HOD's meeting is there, and I will start my class and will continue it in Monday's class. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Just okay.